Hello
And welcome.
to the Minimum Wage Podcast. Even the name is above our pay grade. Today we're joined by...
Phillip Hatfield.
Yeah. So Phillip Hatfield, him and I used to live together, I would say 2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But for that time, I got to know this man quite a bit. We actually went to school together for 18 years or whatever, you know. We were one grade ahead, right?
11 years.
Yeah. Okay.
2 grades ahead.
You were 2 grades ahead.
Yeah.
Because, oh yeah.
2018. Class of 2018.
Yeah. What I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today was you're doing electrician work right now. And you came straight from high school, straight out of high school. That's what you went into, right?
No.
No. What happened?
No, I spent 2.5 years in college going for programming and figured out that programming is great. I don't hate programmers. We love you. You're awesome. But programming is a good hobby for me, not a job.
You're gauging your audience so well. You're like, programmers are great. We love you. Literally talking to John and I both programs.
Yes. Guys, we love you.
Yeah, facts. Even James.
And I live with one. My dad is one. I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, they're all around.
We love you.
So you're already very familiar with being careful around that subject.
Oh, and my brother's
so funny.
Kevin's one too.
Facts. Dude, everyone around you. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I was like, no.
You had all the influence. All the peer pressure was there. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it turns out I would rather just twist wires together and
slave away.
Look at other people's mistakes and go, idiots.
Okay, now that I do a fair amount of, even in programming, but
you look at this design, you're like, electrical engineers are the worst. And then other times you look at it and go, praise God for electrical engineers.
Facts, yeah.
They know something sometimes.
That's so funny. Think about it now too. Like, my dad was an electrical engineer. He went to college for that, and he went from college straight into a job that had nothing to do with electrical engineering. Yeah. So what he does, the way he uses his degree is at home, whenever anything electrical needs to be like redone or figured out, reworked, whatever, he will do it. Like, he'll take that task upon himself. So I guarantee you we've got like so much stuff around this house that's not up to code, but it just works because he's like, you know what? Doggone it, I know it'll work. I know I put this wire here, this wire there, it'll work.
Yeah, so today I was looking at my grandparents. The neutral coming in from the service is degraded, which means that the voltage is out of balance between the two buses when a load is applied to one of them, because the neutral balances the load. It's one of the things it does. And then,
so you have current coming out, current coming in? Is that what you're saying?
It kinda.
Okay.
I don't want to get into it right now because I would say something wrong.
Okay.
Without actually staring at it, I would get one small part wrong.
Yeah.
And I know that, but got my dad to come out because I needed a hairdryer to apply a lot of load to one of the buses to measure the difference in the two. And it was dropping from 120 to about 110, and it was jumping from 120 to 130 just by plugging in a hairdryer on the two buses.
Not even using the hairdryer.
Well, and turning it on.
Okay.
Just plugging it in does nothing. So
yeah, I was about to say.
So
that's a wild hairdryer.
It's pretty bad, but it's not emergency quick. Get the power company out here immediately. Make sure it's not in the meter can.
What is that?
That would be if it was jumping like 40 volts on each one. That would be quick emergency. This has to happen now.
What is the meter cam?
That's where the power comes in from the pole.
Yeah.
And then you got this little can with this weird like glass looking thing.
Oh yeah.
Meter can.
That's the meter can.
I'm not allowed to open that.
Really?
No, power company that's theirs. They have a little lock on it. Not allowed to open it. I can cut the lock.
But then you get fined?
If they can prove it was me.
Oh, got him.
I haven't done that, by the way. But no, so I
this is all allegedly.
Yeah. The cutting it, actually I haven't. I know some people that do. They'll just cut it to look into it to find problems, but I don't do that.
That's so funny. It's the same thing over here with the gas meter though, right? Like, they've got a little tab on there. It's like tamper evident. basically.
Yeah, it's to prevent you from screwing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, obviously these things, like, you go in there and figure out how it worked and then stop charging yourself for gas and things like that.
Yeah, but they would notice if it wasn't spinning, and you would still get charged at least the fee for having it on.
Oh yeah.
So there's a base charge. If you don't use anything, they still charge you a base.
Is this electricity and gas? Like anything?
Yes,
just
this is
utilities?
electricity, gas, and water. All utilities, there's a base flat charge.
Yeah.
And then there's also the usage charge.
Yes.
So that's how that works. But so how was it? My grandparents got my dad to come help. He wanted me to come down and help him wire something on his porch. I was like, yeah, why not?
True.
Can't be that bad. Kind of wanted to go home. I was tired, but we'll go help him. And I found him drilling holes into the posts of the board, like carving out a hole and making his wire connections in there. I'm like, Dad, you do realize that's wood, and you're making electrical connections in a wooden box you just made.
What the hell?
So when I say I've seen stuff that homeowners do to their houses, today I watched my dad.
That was today.
That was today.
Oh my God.
That was around noon today.
This is a little too close to home right now. Got it.
Like, I just witnessed this, and I was trying not to yell at him. Dad.
You just pulled up there, you start crying. You're like, oh my God. I thought I trained you better. It's like a sad parent.
It's like you could have just bought an electrical box. Like, get a bit. I know you want it flush, but could have just got a box and put a box in carve the hole a little bigger and put the box in the hole.
Oh my God.
But no.
That's so funny. Dude, there's a lot of jank electrical work that gets done. But so do you know how it works with work permits? Because you're supposed to have, like, I don't know what the scale of the modification made to your house is to have to get a work permit for it.
From my understanding, it has to do with messing with, like, if you're doing a full panel change out, maybe, or if it's like service related. I know if you're like replacing the meter cans and that kind of work, you have to have one.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on panel, because I know we've messed with a panel before and put a new panel in and didn't have to get permits. So I'm
legally though? Do you know for sure?
Well, I'm not sure exactly on what all that is. Tom pretty much does all the paperwork.
He just tells you what to do.
He just does the paperwork and says, "Hey, Phillip, this needs to happen."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I'll go figure out what materials we need and how to do it. You just throw me a problem, I will solve your problem."
Tom sounds like the best boss ever to have.
Yeah.
Having a boss like that that's so hands off, like, he's like, you know what you need to do already. I'm just gonna go let you do what you've been trained to do.
Yeah, Tom's been on vacation and I'm installing air conditioners at the school right now.
Wow. So you can just do what you need to.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. Who's getting AC now?
What?
Who's getting AC?
Claire Sullivan and Bill Napier's office is getting AC.
Ah.
I pulled the unit out of the old sports office, Bub's old office, because it wasn't hooked up. It was just on the wall.
Sitting there on the wall.
So I pulled it down and I moved it into the other room.
Did you close that window back down and everything?
Close the what?
Was it, you're talking about the wall unit, the window unit?
What do you call the ones that we have in the classrooms now?
Oh, the train units?
Yeah,
the split unit.
No. I can't remember.
Why don't you call it that? Because half of it's outside, half of it's inside.
Well, yeah, but there's a specific mini split. That's what they're called.
Mini split.
I've worked with so many of them and I can't remember. Yeah. So it's a mini split.
Okay.
It's the same. I think it's a leftover one that they just had sitting at the school, and they're like, "Hey, Tom, you want to install this? The room gets really hot."
Which one?
Claire and Bill's office.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about in the athletic office.
Yeah, no, that's where it was going to be installed, but they never.
So what happened to the teacher's office?
There was like a window unit that doesn't work.
Really?
It just blew air. It was basically
that's horrible.
It was a fan sucking hot air from outside and putting it inside.
Oh my gosh, that is horrible, dude.
So that office was hot. I had to put up a big giant like temporary the little plastic walls.
Yeah.
So that I could make the drilling without getting dust all
I don't
over
think it
their
was
stuff.
always like that though, because I definitely remember sneaking in there to warm up some food in their microwave.
Yeah.
Because
It used to they have a microwave in there, but it used to just be none of the school had AC. Whatever the school's temp was, that was the same temp as the room.
Yeah,
so you
true.
wouldn't notice a temp difference walking in.
But I mean, even still, when the high school got AC, I didn't feel a difference walking in there, or I guess sneaking. It was never a walk.
Hallway still doesn't have AC. It'd be the same temp as the hallway.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah.
So I mean, you
wouldn't be too
won't
crazy.
feel much of a temp difference. Imagine just sitting and camping in the hallway, except there's a window so the sun's shining on you.
Ooh,
That's the office.
That is tough. That sucks.
Yes.
Especially now, like getting into May, and then when they go back in August or September.
Yeah, it gets
Dude,
real hot.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's one thing I've never understood in Georgia, specifically in like southern states. The kids go back to school in August. Like if you're in a public school, you're going back on like the 15th of August.
Yeah.
And August is the hottest month by far. Like just records show it's the hottest month.
It is.
And these kids are going back to school in August, literally the hottest month. They're taking off in May, right? June is not that bad. June is like a decently temperate month.
June's not horrid.
July, it starts heating up, and then August, it's just horrible. Horrible, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, they've made the conscious thought to increase their power bill, running AC like crazy in August. Dude, it just makes no sense.
I'm pretty sure
to
that's
me.
why does it the way we do. We start a month later and we end a month later. So we basically moved the summer.
Yeah, which is what I was going to say. Like, I think we actually thought about that because of the fact that we had to, just by virtue of the fact that we had no AC.
Yeah, we had no.
For so long. Yeah, we had to figure out an alternative because these boys would die of heat stroke in their classrooms. Especially considering, like, the uniform, dude. When you're wearing a doggone tie, how are you
so
not
hot.
dying of heat stroke?
And you have to wear an undershirt because those white shirts, when you're sweating, they're
You see
see-through,
right through 'em.
completely see-through.
See
You
right
have
through
to
'em.
wear an undershirt.
It's horrible. Thinking about it now,
So
like
hot.
actual torture, like legitimately.
But at this point, I think they're getting a little, like, almost soft on them. It's like, oh, well, and now we can't use the bathroom because there's no heaters in there in the winter, and so the toilet's cold. We can't go when the toilet's cold. I'm
No,
like,
what?
no one has that.
Nobody has that
if you have
privilege.
to go to the bathroom and the toilet's cold,
You're gonna go to the
just
bathroom.
go to the bathroom.
What the heck?
like, that's what it's like when I visit my grandparents in New York. It's like you just sit on the toilet. Yeah, it's 40 degrees.
Yes.
You just sit.
Dude, and you gotta
have to
think about
go.
it too. There was a time before we had indoor plumbing when you had an outhouse. You had to. It doesn't matter if it's doggone 20 below. You're gonna outside to that outhouse.
Dude, there was time before outhouses.
Yeah,
you walked outside and you found cold, snowy dirt.
exactly. Yeah, and you made some more
And
dirt
then
on
you
top of
found
that
a
dirt.
frozen leaf.
That's horrible. That is horrible. Oh my gosh. I think in those days you just used your hand.
If you're a Roman, you used the communal sponge.
Yeah, true. And honestly, these days, some parts of the world, they seem to still use their hands. Oh my god. Specifically in the middle school.
Dude, okay, so question, was I in 8th grade? So you would have been in 6th grade at the time.
Yeah.
When we got the wet chocolate Cliff Bar, rolled it up to look like a turd and put it in the middle school bathroom.
No, that's so wrong.
That must have been in 7th grade.
It has the perfect texture too. It's like,
looked-
oh my god.
I wasn't part of the group that did that, but I thought it was so
That's
funny.
horrible. That's so bad.
It's one of those moments where it's like, dang, wish I thought of that one.
Yeah. No, dang it. I was about to bring up a story that was 1 year past your time. But this was a pretty funny story where one of the kids did something wrong. I don't remember what they did, but they got in middle school, the way punishment worked was you could get your name circled. So each class has a class list.
Yes.
It's just got all the names, and then it's got attendance for each period. You can mark in the attendance. And then what'll happen is if you get a circle on your name, then that's like a warning for that day.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a circle and a check, that's detention the next day. Or if it's before lunch,
Yeah,
that's
if you get it
detention
before
that
lunch.
day. Yeah, so, and that's That's speed running it. If you get a circle and a check before lunch, you're speed running, because you've only had 3 periods to do that, and so you haven't even had your meal to like have an excuse for being off the chain, you know. So at that point, the kids that are getting a circle and a check before lunch, you worry about them later in life.
Well, I mean, there's also the possibility of you just doing something bad enough for them to
Do you
go
really,
straight
though?
to check.
True, yeah.
I think that's a problem with the education system and not children. Hey, let's rip kids out of bed way early in the morning, earlier than their brains are meant to be up, and then let's force them to sit in these classrooms and not talk and do anything and just listen to someone ramble for hours and hours, and then give them these 5-minute breaks in between classes where they're supposed to be able to do what? Move between classes? That's about it. And then let's lock them in a room for 25 minutes, say that's your lunchtime, but if you get, too loud or get too happy, shut up, eat your lunch, damn it. And then
Yeah,
and then
no
it's
more
right
talking.
back to a couple, more hours of no moving and no talking.
Yeah, it literally
What do
is
you
like
expect?
prison. Like when you think about the prison scheme right now, like you've got your hour of play, you've got your hour to eat.
You don't even get an hour.
Like legitimately.
That's the stupidest part of school. You should have a full class period to eat.
Yeah, you don't even get that.
Because, fun fact, it takes time to digest, believe it or not. And while you are digesting, that does affect your ability to learn.
Dude,
Really?
that's why you always
Well,
stick to hardest classes right
so
after lunch.
One of the things is that is that if you look at like other countries that have more successful,
education
systems that
yeah.
work, then and most of them have,
Year-round schooling.
most of them treat students more like humans than animals.
Yeah,
Just being
true. We are like
processed.
livestock in the United States.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the whole reason you get time off of school is because that was whenever you used to help harvest.
You go work the farm.
It's the only reason.
Mhm.
It's because you would wake up. It's trained. You wake up early in the morning like a farmer, and then
Yeah, that part never bugged me. I was awake at 6 anyways. Well, my mom, who grew up on a dairy farm, you just woke up at like 5 in the morning and you got your chores done. That's just what she did. She'd milk the cows or whatever.
So
her
she'd
thing
be
was to
out
do
there
that.
before sunrise.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean they're in New York, and if it's wintertime, which is spring, winter, and fall is typically the school season. Sunrise is later in those seasons, unless we're taking daylight. I don't remember how daylight savings
Yeah.
flips in.
Oh, I'm
This is
so
down
glad
there.
we got rid of that.
Yeah, I can't. Daylight savings needs to go bye.
We got rid of
We
it.
got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The last one that we
Well,
just
wait,
did.
Didn't we?
or,
Didn't we?
we're in one right
permanently
now.
Stay on daylight savings though. Didn't they have to go?
We're
the
one way or
weird-
the other for sure.
I
doesn't
think
matter
they went
which
the
one
weird
it
route
is.
and said we're going daylight savings as the only one.
I think we just matched the rest of the world and stopped being dumb.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well,
So like
interesting thing is
whatever
daylight
it was,
savings,
whatever everyone else did, I think we're just doing that now.
How
yeah,
about
but
that?
daylight savings isn't required on a federal level. There are actual a couple states that just didn't do it. I think Arizona is a state.
Colorado.
I think Arizona.
Colorado
do
has
that.
their own. They've got mountain time.
Yeah.
Yeah. A whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
there was one section of a state where you could, if you're just driving like in a straight line, you would jump forward, jump back, jump forward, jump back, and it had to do with like an Indian reservation
Oh my gosh.
in certain counties that just did and didn't involve themselves with daylight
That's
savings.
wild. That's actually wild that you're just pulling damn smelling salts out right now.
Are you that tired, John?
I think he's actually
Shut up.
addicted to them. Like he can't become John until he has his smelling salts now.
I think I've only sniffed from the bottle like 4 times.
Oh,
since
really?
I've had it, yeah.
It's just
I
other
don't-
people have been sniffing.
So Dalen, before we do these smelling salts,
Yeah.
thoughts on smelling salts? My knowledge of them is nothing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. It's something else. It's really, unless you've done it before, you don't know what to
It's like
expect.
sniffing chlorine.
It can't be worse than sniffing that bottle of horseradish I had.
Okay.
Do you
here we
remember
go.
that, Dalen? Or was that after you left?
Oh,
the horseradish?
No, yeah,
Dude,
I do
that
remember
was-
that was
It's
shocking.
probably comparable.
That
It's
was-
it's probably comparable actually.
Is it comparable to that horseradish?
It's
dude,
similar.
That horseradish, just
Are we ready?
smelling it instantly cleared your sinuses.
Closer? Yeah, get a little bit closer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whew.
And that's the weak bottle. I got a bottle that's like 2 or 3 times as big as that.
So do I shake it?
So you shake
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and then you put your
Shake it,
nose about
and then you
6
just
inches
open
away
up,
from
and
it.
then you just take it and like Do like this.
So make sure it's closed well. I don't think I got the cap on there. Yeah.
Yep. Shake it, and then you want to open it, and then like sniff and just, and then it'll just waft up and hit your nose.
It smells like paint can.
It's like ammonia.
It smells like. I don't know. I can't place my finger on that scent.
Just don't say Larry's dog, please.
Larry's dog.
It does
Rosie
not
the
smell
dog.
like
Really,
Larry's
I hate
dog.
Rosie.
Oh,
It
Rosie.
probably
Yeah.
smells better than that.
Nothing smells
to
worse
work
than
that.
Rosie.
All right, you ready? Moment of truth right here.
Whoa, you got
That
in
was so
deep,
close.
cocksucker.
Oh,
You got
my
in
God. Good morning.
Whoa. 6 inches, I said.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, 6 inches.
Okay, I missed the instructions.
It does burn your nose pretty well if you get it close. I've done that
Yeah.
too. Mm-hmm.
doesn't burn as bad as the horseradish did, though.
No, the
No,
horseradish
yeah.
is bad.
My eyes might have been watering from this,
I
but
don't
my
wanna-
eyes were crying.
You
from
would,
the
yeah, the
horseradish.
horseradish, you cried.
Yeah, the horseradish you cried.
That's what you did. Were you there when I gave?
I think
I put some on a
I think
shrimp
I
and
smelled
gave it to
that.
Tony.
No, I missed that. That's
He
horrible.
got
What happened
so
to him?
upset.
Was he
I
going
don't
through
know
all
if
the
I-
emotions? Like he has first shock, and then
Yes.
there's like the like wondering what happened, and then there's the rage after you
Yeah,
find out.
Uh-huh.
He went through all the
All of them.
emotions. You just see his face change from like bright red to like blue while he's trying to figure out what happened, and then bright red when he realized what happened.
Oh, and you forgot like the constant like wincing because it hurts.
It does hurt. That was actually like that's a satanic ritual. The fact that you got that.
By the way, for
Where did
anyone
you even
watching
get
the
that?
podcast, the horseradish is called nasal napalm.
Oh, I
And
think
then
you made me
James
smell
Fix.
this.
Called.
I think you made me smell
I
this.
did.
and
I made
remember
you
this,
smell
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was
Wasn't like-
horrible, dude.
It makes the best cocktail sauce. That when I'm with my family on Christmas, we always have a jar, and you put like half of this, half ketchup, which is way more horseradish to ketchup than most people make. But
Yeah.
we're doing it with the nasal napalm, and my grandfather always complains it's not strong enough. So we made one specifically for him, which was 75% horseradish, and we finally got one he liked.
That is crazy.
He's like, if it doesn't knock me over, it's not good.
Are you still feeling it?
Yeah, my nose burns. It still burns.
It's
It
horrible.
lasts longer than the nasal napalm.
It
the burn.
does. It
Look
it
at
really
look
does.
at James over there sitting in the corner, laughing at us maniacally.
Look at him, dude. Look at him.
I know.
Good Lord. Oh my
You can't see him, but he's scaring me this whole time.
No, look at him. I'm scared now. I'm secondhand scared. What the
The
hell?
light on James's
It's
face.
so scary, actually.
Your production
It's like,
crew.
look, you know how when you're in front of a fire, like you're camping, you're all around a fire. Somebody takes a flashlight and puts it up to their face like this. That's what the man
James right
looks
now.
like. That's what James looks like right now. Except it's not a flashlight. It's just the light on his face. That's messed up.
I've been trying to look at you, but I'm looking at
Yes.
James.
Yeah. Keep your eye on him, dude. Don't worry about me. Dang, bro. What you plotting back there? Scaring me for real. But so your day to day, as a what would you call yourself?
An electrician's apprentice right now. I got
Okay.
about 2 more years till I'm licensed.
An electrician's apprentice.
Correct.
What would you say? Obviously, this week is a little different because you're just installing AC. Tom's out of town. When you're
Yeah.
with Tom, what would your day to day be? You wake up what time?
I'd like to wake up around 6. I like to be up early. And if you plan to wake up at 6 all the time, and you don't have to go to anything until typically 8, and you want to get a little extra sleep, you just have an alarm set for 7 that you just click 2 buttons on your phone and you get an extra hour of sleep. Or sometimes you fall asleep during your prayer time and you have a nap with Jesus.
Nap with Jesus.
Nap with Jesus. It's a great prayer time. It's always peaceful.
I bet.
I have a hard time napping, not like right after I wake up.
Yeah, like the afternoon naps.
I can't. I've tried. I think I've got like, minus when I was really young and like 2 years old and I had to nap every day because mom
Facts.
said so.
Yeah,
I've gotten like maybe 10 in my life.
bro, that's a funny thing
Afternoon,
too.
I just can't.
Napping because mom said so. Because I used to always, I would basically put my mom to sleep, dude. I would sit there, like, be extremely still and quiet until she was conked out, and then I'd leave the bed and go do whatever I wanted to in the house.
You
And-
remember that at 2 years old?
Yeah, I was like 2-3 years
Oh.
old. Yeah, because I remember I have one like specific occurrence that I remember like very clearly because I got my ass beat for it. Bottom line, that's why I remember it very clearly. But I was in bed. My mom had laid me down for a nap, and typically what would happen is she would like lay down for the first half an hour or whatever, like try and make sure I'm asleep, and then she'd leave and go do whatever she had to do. Sometimes, however, I would outlast her, and she would fall asleep, and I'd be gone. I'd have the house to myself, doggone it. And at 2-3 years old, the possibilities are
I'm
endless.
glad you did not find the forks,
The forks? I'm sure I found the forks.
but you didn't find them in an outlet at the same time.
True. Very true. Very true. And I wasn't curious enough to find out what they do together.
Yes.
120
Yes.
volts
Because
at 10 amps would
when
be
you were
nice.
2, I doubt these were tamper-resistant receptacles.
No shot.
So you probably just poke it right on in there.
Yeah, I definitely would have.
Every child needs to just have a wire to ground. We should just
In the house.
we should just ground kids.
You
We
just
should
run
just-
around.
We should just ground
Hey, I
children.
think
Just
if
ground
you were to use 12 stranded, we could make it work. It would be strong enough to where they're not just gonna rip it, but since it's stranded, it's flexible enough to where they can still run around the house.
straight up copper wire, just wrap
Yeah.
it around them,
That's
and then make them into a Tesla coil, and then pump power through them.
No.
Yeah,
Pump power through them.
science.
Only I think we do that, but only if we can do it
Wait,
with 2.
here's
on
a great
cable.
idea: lead paint.
What?
Here's a better idea: asbestos in your floor and your ceiling and curtains.
Yeah,
Never have kids, and then you'll never have to worry about
But
it.
what if I want kids?
Too bad.
adoption.
That's something you should have thought about before having to ground them.
Ground them in reality. That's okay. That's required.
All you do is you just have a little wire, have a little.
because when by the time we have kids at the age of 12 and 14, virtual reality is actually going to be a thing.
Dude.
And no kids of mine are having a phone until they're at least 16,
16?
till they can drive.
That might be up there, dude.
That is up there.
What about 15? Like when they got a
Maybe
permit.
at 15 with a permit.
Okay.
But I mean, think about it.
But like
if you have a phone at 10 years old, you got your social media account. I mean,
Well, they don't have to
imagine
have
what that
social
does to the brain. You just sit on the couch all day and play on your phone. Unless you have
it's
okay,
horrible.
this is your phone, but it lives locked here and you can't access it without mom or dad's approval. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I was a kid once. I know how that works.
yeah,
Mom and dad leave, I access it.
facts.
That's how it works.
That's literally how it worked. And I don't really get that too because I'm sure when your phone was locked up, you were doing something else. You found some other thing to do.
yeah. So, well, I didn't have a phone at that age.
Okay, yeah.
So, but
Did you have an iPod Touch or like anything like that? Any like
No.
small electronic device?
for a very, very short period of time, someone gave me an old flip phone, and I could play like
Tetris.
Snake on it.
Didn't even have Tetris.
And I was like maybe 10 years old, and I had it for like maybe a few weeks before I had it taken away because I was playing on it too much.
Oh my gosh.
But
You're
there's nothing
playing
like the
Snake.
Wii, bro.
You're at the you're at the dinner table. Your parents are like, "What are you doing, Philip? You've got
Playing
your
Yeah, I
flip
had my
phone out."
little
Playing
pink
Snake,
Motorola
Mom.
flip phone.
Pink Motorola.
Pink Motorola.
Oh my god, dude, take
don't-
me back.
I don't
That's
know how
the
I
good
ended
old
up with
days.
that.
I don't know how you did either,
I
but
don't
I need
remember.
one now. Dude, at this point, a pink Motorola would do me just fine.
I would do better with a flip phone right now. That's actually something I've thought about. The only reason I haven't done it because I like Google Maps
Yes,
on my phone.
I was literally about to say that, dude. So when I'm going places in, I know where it is. But sometimes I don't know how long it'll take. I want to make sure I'm running a little late. I want to make sure there aren't any cops on my route. Pull up Waze. Then there are also sometimes where I'm leaving the city that I know, going someplace else, you've got to have maps. And
Yeah.
for those specific circumstances, you need a smartphone or something like that.
Yep.
And it doesn't make sense just to have a smartphone to only use as a GPS And it doesn't make sense to have a GPS to only use as a GPS. Like they're way too expensive.
Yeah, and I'll admit I use my smartphone way more often than I should.
Yeah.
For way more than
What
I
do you
should.
find yourself on there?
On my smartphone?
Yeah.
Typically, I'm on YouTube, but I'm not normally watching it. I
Reading
just have
comments?
I have it playing something in the background.
I do that a lot.
Or like Audible. Always have an audiobook or something on in an ear.
But are you on your phone unable to interact with other things in the
No,
world?
so
then that's
actually
not a
I'm
problem.
wearing one right now. It's just not on. But my beanie has Bluetooth
They
built
took
into
the
it.
beanie off.
So yeah.
You got Bluetooth beanie?
Yeah,
What the hell?
$20 on Amazon, and it's got 2 Bluetooth speakers. I just have something on so that I can, have an audiobook on. Lord of the Rings is a great audiobook to just listen to.
Why does that look
over
really
and
good
over
on
and
you?
over.
It looks good on me.
Yeah.
It's great on you.
I'm a
Actually good
beanie
on
man now.
And now everyone can see my receding hairline.
Oh no, he's balding.
This hairline was receding in high school.
Facts, dude. At a certain point, you just gotta be like, it is what it is.
I shaved it bald once.
Did you?
Yeah, it's actually my most recent haircut. I just went over to Anya and was like, hey, I don't want to get a
All of
haircut
it.
for a while. Take it all off.
That's horrible, dude.
It's like, I hate haircuts. If you take it all off, I don't have to get another one for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then in 6 months, you can take it all off again.
That's ridiculous, dude. That's such a utilitarian way of thinking about it, for real.
It's hair.
It is hair, dude.
I'll take care of this one
There you
because
go.
this is the one I was blessed with.
But it's hair. Come on, the logic doesn't stand up to that. It's hair.
Yeah, I know it's hair,
Okay.
but I like this one.
Okay, this one isn't receding, so you'll take care of it.
It's also bright red. This
There
one's
you
not.
go. Okay, yeah. So it's got some flair to
It's
it.
got a little bit of style points.
It's got the X factor.
And beards don't have to be washed quite as often as hair on top. It doesn't need it.
Arguably, like, not right.
I was
Because
about to say, once you
well,
like
the
gotta,
doggone
like,
food you're eating, the food you're eating don't get into your hair on the top of your head.
No, it doesn't. But it doesn't get much in the beard if you've had the beard for a while and you know how to just eat with the beard.
That would be a problem I would definitely have. Because right now, I eat like a doggone Gerber baby.
So you need a beard. That's all you need.
Just to collect it?
If you have a beard, it will bug you when it ends up in your beard because then you have to go home and immediately wash your beard. Because there's a bunch. It's filthy. There's food in it.
I would just not eat.
And
Like-
and so you will just learn.
Like, straight up.
You will learn how to be a clean eater because you have a beard.
Sometimes it's just a great choice to be like, you know what? No eating.
Yeah, I do that too much.
Do it way too much. I've eaten once today and just barely.
I have
Just
eaten.
barely-
Well,
just barely
I've
eat.
eaten. I've eaten 3 meals today. It's the first time I've had 3 meals in a single day in weeks. And it was because I gave blood and I felt really bad.
That is valid.
That would explain it. So, actually, why don't you eat that much?
Typically I just not hungry when I wake up, so normally I'll just skip breakfast.
Yeah.
And then
I
lunch.
couldn't force myself to
Yeah.
eat breakfast. Like, there's
Yeah.
just no
I'm just
room.
not really hungry when I
Yeah.
wake up immediately.
Yeah, and then lunch is maybe I have lunch at work, and then dinner's if I'm hungry around dinner time I'll eat it. If not,
Maybe I'm a little
a
snack.
granola bar or
yeah.
just something small.
Yeah.
I mean, a spoonful of peanut butter is just fine for me. If
Wow.
I'm not hungry.
This is malnutrition at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man, that's horrible. But
it's not bad.
if it works, it works, doggone it. Not everybody needs to be eating like an
you
animal.
know, looking at myself, I'm not malnutrition.
Yeah, you're not malnourished.
I'm not
for sure. Oh man, but I don't think you're malnourished either. You look
No.
good. But it is weird, dude, because we've been programmed to think that we need 3 square meals:
No.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's absolutely not
No,
the
so
case.
normally you only feel hungry. Normally hunger kicks in, to my knowledge, when you eat normally. It's kind of like the sense of hunger kicks in at your normal food times.
Yeah. Also, there's a weird thing about it where if you're in ketosis or you're in so you've got like 2 different burning modes. So you've got like your carb burning mode and then your fat burning mode. And when you're in your fat burning mode, then you don't actually have the hunger symptoms nearly as often because the big carb load, what it'll do is increases the blood sugar, like super heavily. There's a massive spike as soon as you eat those carbs, and then it'll kind of taper off. And when you get back down to low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, you want to eat again. That's where the hunger kicks in because you want that another boost of carbs. It's very interesting. But yeah, I think carbs are what bring you the hunger feelings and the hunger symptoms, because when I'm not eating carbs, I just don't really feel hungry. I will occasionally feel hungry, and I'll drink water and not feel hungry.
Yeah, I was going to say another thing. The hunger feeling sometimes is just thirst.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't do well at distinguishing between the two.
Yeah.
It just knows you need to put something in your system.
Fluid, because
if we go without food for a long enough period of time and then you eat food,
You're
it can
gonna
actually
shock
be
your
really
system
bad for you.
and incredibly unhealthy. Yeah.
So what would you say, John, are the worst three?
Three.
Like
what?
So
Worst
if
three.
you had to have, you want to have the worst time on the toilet. What are you having for breakfast? What are you having for lunch?
Bro,
And what are
what?
you having for dinner?
So
Out of the restaurants.
the trifecta, nightmare blunt rotation.
So nightmare blunt notification. Let's see. For breakfast, bro, we gotta go to Bojangles, right? Load up on the grease.
What are we
all
getting
the
at
grease.
Bojangles?
We're getting like 2 of the steak biscuits.
Oh, I heard 2 and cringed.
Smothered
In gravy.
in
right?
gravy.
Yep.
Yeah.
and
And
you
a
know,
large bow round.
a large bow round. Right.
That's nut.
And I don't know what you're gonna do to get yourself ready for the next meal, but go do something.
Are we
Gotta
doing
do
like
something.
sweet tea for all the drinks? Because
I think that's an important factor.
Coffee for all the
coffee.
drinks.
Okay, I was like, it's gotta
Coffee
be a
for all
coffee
the
or a
black
tea
coffee
for the
with 2
beverages.
shots of espresso for all
No,
of
I
us.
think.
You can't get espresso at Bojangles, so espresso's off the table.
No, you can bring it.
Well, no. What I was gonna say is,
Whatever.
you could drink milk for the first 2 if you have Taco Bell on the third. Like it doesn't
Nah.
really matter.
Just load up on dairy.
yes. Yeah.
And then
it doesn't really matter. Like anything.
And then for lunch, you're
Checkers.
definitely going to Popeyes.
Oh,
And you're
Popeyes.
And you're getting
beans and
that-
rice. Or mac and cheese.
and you're getting that
Oh my God.
2-person meal where it's 5 pieces of chicken, 2 sides, and 2 biscuits. You're eating that yourself. You ain't sharing that. You're eating
No
all 5 of
shot.
them pieces of chicken. You're getting
You're eating diabetes.
It's got to be
What you're
red beans
getting
and rice.
is
for
you're
one of
getting
sides.
red beans and rice and the mac and
cheese.
Oh.
Yep.
And then you go to Taco Bell and you get one of everything.
Oh.
No.
Okay. Instead of one of everything, you get 2 chalupas and a loaded nacho, because that's usually what I get, and maybe a nacho fry if you really feel
Okay.
like it.
Okay,
So-
I'm ready
so
for this question.
We have to experiment with you now.
You will
John.
shit
you
8
have
pounds.
To, you have to get that one day.
None of it will be
That's
solid.
one
Oh,
all day.
wait. And you need to have the afternoon snack.
Wish that on my
or
worst
rather-
enemy.
1 scoop of Miralax.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be game over for the next 2 days.
What
All
about,
right.
what about a whole bag of laxative gummy bears? Just to top
That'll
it
do.
off.
That'll do.
Perfect. That's what you have on
man.
top of your.
On top of your bowl ice cream.
Yeah, I
for
was about to
dessert.
say on top
All
of your
right,
ice
so
cream.
you would have Bojangles, Popeyes, and then
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I would have for my breakfast. This is honestly like I would say not a very common choice for the breakfast, but I would say you've got to go to that McDonald's. You got to get that McDonald's
Uh-huh.
breakfast, dude, because that shit'll tear you apart. That
What
will
is
actually tear
what
you
is
apart.
McDonald's breakfast? Because all I get from McDonald's is McChickens and
So are we looking at like a
fries.
McMuffin or? are
Yes,
we,
so
okay,
there's 2
McMuffin.
things. So number 1, we're looking at a McMuffin. We need to have that in there for sure. That, especially sausage, that will mess you up. Then number 2, we got a McGriddle. Also sausage, that will
Yep.
extra mess you up.
The
Yeah,
McGriddle.
so the McGriddle, and then you're also gonna get hash browns. That'll be fine for you. We're just putting that in there because they're tasty. So you'll get all that. For the drink, you're gonna get sweet tea, as we spoke. And then for lunch, so that's your breakfast. You're fine. You're fine for a couple hours. You know, this really only hits you at night after the Taco Bell. And I
Yeah.
kind of let on. The last one is going to be Taco Bell, but we'll see what the order is after that. But then for lunch, honestly, I think this one everybody knows. Everybody knows I'm going to dog on Popeyes. We know I'm going to
Ooh.
Popeyes, and I'm getting that doggone undercooked chicken sandwich. I'm making sure they don't cook that thing right.
He's making sure
I
he's
want
getting
to
that
go there
salmonella.
when it's packed out the wazoo, when there's 15 cars in the drive-thru and 3 workers there. You know, I want that thing to be undercooked as hell. I want that thing raw.
You want sass from the drive-thru lady, don't you?
I want that too. Yes. Matter of fact. So that's lunch. That's a great meal. Sweet tea as well. Then for my evening meal, the big wazoo, I'm going to Taco Bell. There's just no two ways about it. You gotta go to Taco Bell to end out a night like that, a day like that, dude. So
See,
I'm going to Taco Bell. I'm getting 2 Doritos Locos Tacos. I'm getting a bag full of fire sauce. And then I'm getting 2 bean burritos. And then 2,
Mhm.
I don't even think they have anymore, but beefy Fritos burritos. Ridiculous things.
Okay, but could you eat all of that?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, see, I can't eat that.
Well,
much.
here's the thing
You
about
just named
Taco
so much
Bell.
food for one meal. I'm like, dude, I could maybe eat half of that. I don't
So,
eat
like,
that much in one sitting.
You gotta
Whenever
get on my level.
you eat something sweet, your body or like you just get more hungry.
Yeah, the sugar response.
So like Taco Bell's got the same drug going on, you know. It's just the same thing. It's like I have a bite of Taco Bell and it's like I can eat 6 times as more as I should.
Yes, dude. So you order 1 Doritos Locos Taco, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this is enough. Then you find yourself literally ordering 4
Can we
more.
talk about the
2 minutes
price of
later.
Taco Bell? We're talking about ordering all this food from there, but let's be real. If you want a snack at Taco Bell, you're spending easy $8.
Yeah.
If you want a meal, 15 minimum.
Which
Yeah,
is crazy.
It's gone up a lot.
It used to be the cheapest option.
And now
By
it is
far.
one of the most expensive on that
Yeah,
street.
I do disagree
Yeah.
with both of y'all. I would put Taco Bell at lunch.
No way.
I would make, if we're going for most
hear this.
painful, I would take it lunch so that it has to simmer.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I would
you're
force
the
it
only
to
one
simmer.
left. Oh God.
I would do same
I'm
breakfast.
talking about
same
waking up at 2
breakfast
a.m.
as Dalen. That's
Okay.
what I'd do. But for dinner, I would do Checkers and get the Baconzilla and loaded fries. That would be
Oh
the,
my God. I just had
so
PTSD.
drop the Popeyes and replace it with Checkers. Because those loaded fries will mess you up without anything else.
Yes.
We just
Oh my
made
God.
how to have like the worst toilet experience, but like
How to have the worst
how do you
day
shit
possible.
bricks? You know,
How do you
How do you
shit a brick?
shit like a rock? You know,
Dude, yes.
say like I'm trying to
I'm
like
trying to build a house.
Yeah,
okay?
like-
and I need the foundation.
like I'm trying to shit something that I can scratch a diamond with. You know?
Yes,
I'm trying to
exactly.
scratch diamonds here.
Exactly. Man,
What's
that's the
your
perfect
first?
meal.
What's
for
your
that.
like? Do you just like wake up and you just? What do you even eat?
I wake up and I need Taco Bell in my system. I go to Taco Bell. I get the Taco Bell. I ground it up into a fine
Powder.
dust. It's more of like a paste.
And
really.
just snort
You'd
it.
have
You
to
know?
And I add
dehydrate
water.
it to get powder.
I put it into a bag. and I
Dehydrated
inject it.
Taco
IV
Bell.
drip. IV drip Taco Bell every
Oh.
morning.
You don't make it. You don't like dehydrate it and then turn it into a face mask.
Okay, that's for lunch. You were asking me about breakfast. Come on. First things first. You're asking me about breakfast. Oh man,
How did we end up on this conversation?
I don't know. It was your your choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, I asked John the question, but how did we end up at Taco Bell at all?
I don't know. That's horrible.
So I think we're
I
talking
don't-
about Chick-fil-A at some point. I
Yeah.
don't know.
The craziest
I have
thing
no
is,
idea
though-
how we ended up here.
Aside from talking about your experience as an electrician, or rather an apprentice electrician, as you said, we haven't talked much about tech. I know that you enjoy your games.
Yes.
Well, what games do you enjoy?
So I typically like things that either make me think. So we're looking at something like strategy.
Mhm.
I'm sure you are both well aware what my favorite game is.
StarCraft.
It's StarCraft.
Yes.
It's in the name.
I love-
RTS.
I love
real-time
RTS.
strategy.
RTSs are great. Puzzle
Oh,
games
shit,
are
though.
phenomenal. And anything that just lets me explore.
I love the exploration.
So Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, any really good open world game.
Mhm.
But I mean, there are also plenty of really bad ones that the open world is just a thing to walk through
and look
from
pretty.
point A to point B, and
Mhm.
look pretty
Yeah.
to get from action to action.
Wasn't that the problem with No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
I like it when the world has purpose.
Yes, the world has to have purpose. It's
It's
got to be
there for
full
a
of stuff.
reason.
And
And it
not
looks
just
good.
not just full of stuff like, oh, let's just throw enemies everywhere. That's not interesting.
No.
The enemies have to be placed very strategically,
And have
and there's
why?
basically got to be lore everywhere in the world. So Elden Ring did that perfectly. Also, I
Mhm.
just figured out how to ray trace in Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
I found that setting, didn't know it was there. Looks
Mhm.
so good.
Might have to see it. You know what's crazy? Elden Ring is not crossplay.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
That
It's
should-
it's cross.
It's
Play.
cross save.
It's cross play.
It's cross save.
Oh, was it cross save?
Yeah.
I thought it was cross play, but not cross platform.
Wait, isn't cross play the
I thought
ability to
cross-play-
play on multiple
Yeah,
accounts?
So
and then
cross-platform
cross-save
means
is-
the
Oh,
game can be owned on multiple consoles.
Okay.
Cross-play means you can play on those consoles together.
Yeah.
But it should
Either
be like
way-
a crime to release games that aren't.
Okay.
Cross-play.
No. Yeah.
I kind of
I
agree
don't
with
know
that,
if
but
it
also
should be
there's
a- it-
It
exclusives.
should not be a
it shouldn't
crime.
be a
No,
crime,
it should not be a crime.
And there's
Yeah.
exclusives.
But
like,
game devs should not be.
but really, if you're making something that multiplayer is part of the core experience, I think it's wise for game developers to do so. But it's also totally within their right to say, well, that's going to take up too much resources. We'd rather put that resources into making a better story.
Right.
Yeah.
And typically, by the way, don't blame the devs. Blame the money department of these companies, because
No, blame the
I'm-
executives.
I'm sure that most devs would happily make the coolest features and do the awesomest things, but
Mhm.
they're having to deal with people, telling them, you're not going to work on that. You're going to work on this. This is our budget. You're doing this. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And
they
that's with
tell
all
the
companies, really.
they tell the leaders of these teams, like, yeah, we're gonna have to cut half your staff, when like they're literally working on projects that are fundamental to the game. It's like,
Mhm.
what do you like? So these people that weren't working on that project are gonna have to take somebody's half done work and like try and incorporate it. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
dude. It's a mess. Coding giant games like that,
Coding games.
just games in general,
Much
take our
less
smartest
giant
minds,
games.
dude. And then when you think about the fact that there are budget cuts that can happen during the game's production, there are
Mhm.
games these days that literally take 4 years to make.
Well,
and
I mean,
there's so much that can happen in those 4 years.
There's the
People
whole-
leave, everything.
there's the whole idea, or just the thought that you can just keep cranking out bloody massive games
You can't.
year after year. You can't. And you can't keep creating new game engines. I mean, yeah, they
Uh-huh.
crank out these new games, but they're just slightly modified versions of last year's
Yeah.
engine. Like the engine in Destiny 2, for example, was originally ported from, I believe, Halo.
I'll say,
which
isn't that the
was-
Halo? I'm pretty sure Destiny 2's engine is the same as Halo CE, which is 2001.
Right, and that's most major
Yeah.
games. Though
Yeah.
most major games are not rewriting their
Yeah.
game engines,
think-
and so now people are like, just make a new game engine. The game engine, like, you make a new game engine.
You make
well,
a
you
new
make
game
a
engine.
new
Well,
game
here's-
engine.
So
Yes.
on the new game engine, I'm pretty sure Halo Infinite has a new game engine.
I think it
and
does, but I
the
think they
Halo
worked
Infinite,
a long time on
The
that.
reason Halo Infinite took so long to come out was that they spent that long making a new game engine, and Halo Infinite had the biggest budget a game's ever had because they spent the first 3/4 of their time making a game engine.
If I'm not mistaken, they also had, because they had the company making it, and then they had money from Xbox Studios.
Yeah,
Xbox wanted that. So
yeah.
they
Xbox
were
wanted it.
happy to give them
Yeah,
money.
every big person involved in that wanted it.
Yeah.
and so they
And
had
so they had
basically
money.
unlimited funding.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Was it like
Them- They made a very good engine.
how much money was it for that? Do you know off the top of your head? I don't know. All I know is it was absolutely ridiculous.
James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much money did Halo Infinite have is a very good question.
Like, I guarantee you, Modern Warfare 2, 2022, that's probably got chunks in there that have been in there since the OG days, It's
There's probably bits of code that have
There's
not been
probably-
modified since like 2000, maybe 2005.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think most games, especially things like Call of Duty, I personally think they need to not be every year releases. They need to be at least
100%.
every other year.
I'm right there
I
with
mean,
you.
what you're doing is creating fatigue in your players.
Copy paste.
I mean, you're
Change
all
this
that.
texture.
Why do you think the Call of Duty fan base is never happy with the new Call of Duty?
Because
they
they've got
weren't
so
happy
many
with the
Call of
previous
Duties.
one.
Is because they have so many previous ones, and that's all they're doing. And when there's no variety, you just become it just gets boring.
Yeah.
And
You're looking for the same high you got last time by doing the same thing
You need more
100
to do it.
100 days in a row.
Yeah.
especially
It's gonna get less every single, and if the gameplay is basically the same every time. I mean, at its core, every Call of Duty is the same at their core. Now, I mean, I'm not saying they're all equal by any means. Like, Black Ops 2 is infinitely better than Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
But I
Like-
mean, at their core, they're just quick, fast-paced, quick time to kill first-person shooters.
True.
something that we've been seeing a lot recently, especially with Call of Duty, is they'll like release a game and it's ass. You know, it comes out of it's just like ass. Nothing works. There's so many quality of life things just aren't there, and then they spend the next year, working on them until they just quit updating that game ever because they got the new one. But when that new one comes out, it's like they forget. It's like they forgot about every single game release. The first couple of months are just bitching about the same problems because they never think about maybe if we didn't do this to begin with, maybe we wouldn't have to update the hotfix 6 months down the road.
Let's also not throw Call of Duty under the bus too hard. They're not the only ones doing it.
No.
They're just the big one.
But they have the
that
money for it, and
yeah,
they're
just the big
popular
one we're
enough,
throwing it
and they
at
have
right now.
Oh, I'll throw hands at Call of Duty because I play and I own the games and I used to really like them and I started playing a couple other games and I was like, wow, innovation at its best right here. We've been doing the same thing since 1993.
Hey, Tetris is a great game.
Tetris is a great game.
Yeah.
But
Made
it's
in
not
the
like
Soviet Union.
but they're not
Really?
but they're not constantly rebranding it.
No, I mean Tetris is Tetris.
Tetris is
It's
Tetris.
just great. It's like
Have they rebranded it?
Yes.
Yes. About a couple times. They have a cool game on the Xbox.
Tetris
which is
99
like,
on the Switch was awesome.
yeah.
Didn't know
they
you
do
could
cool
mix
things to
Battle
Tetris.
Royale and Tetris together, but they did it, and it was so much fun.
What?
They do
I
cool
was
things
really
to Tetris.
bad.
I love
But it was fun.
Tetris.
Yeah,
but you
Tetris
don't-
is great.
Expected to be over
$500 million
For Infinite.
for Halo. Good Lord,
yeah,
half
that's
a
James.
billion.
That's a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Most
How
expensive.
does that compare to other games? But yeah, $500 million.
So much money.
That's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah. Exactly.
97.
Destiny's engine was made in '97.
It's the one. It's
Yeah.
the one they used in Halo MC
Yeah.
in 2001.
Yep.
Is that correct, James? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, well now we have been going for a minute, and I gotta edit this doggone tomorrow, so we better not go too much longer now.
Oh, making pain for Dalen.
Wait.
You got to spend
Wait.
time with Don tomorrow.
I know how we can really make pain.
I'm just gonna cut it out.
You do. Yeah, that's just, he's gonna
He's
hear
gonna
how
know.
to make really big pain for Dalen, and then it's just gonna cut to. I'm just gonna cut that out.
Yes.
That's the perfect cut for that. It's just,
That would-
Dalen giving him the biggest middle finger in the editing.
That's so funny, actually, because I didn't even think about that. Because normally when I say I'm just gonna cut that out, I don't cut out I cut out the part where I say I'm just gonna cut
no,
that
in
out.
that case,
I'm
leave
gonna
it
leave
because,
it in.
because he started by let's make pain for Dalen and it just have it.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
like,
gonna
I'm
cut
just
that
gonna
out.
cut that out.
You're the editor. You're allowed to have arrows pointing at him like dunce.
I'm about to put a CGI cap on his head.
Yeah.
Dunce.
I wouldn't start that war, buddy.
Dude,
Uh-oh.
next thing you know, the thumbnails are gonna be
yeah.
horrible.
Don't even start.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's the
it's
first thing
horrible.
they see, bro.
Also, yeah, they see the first dude. Yeah, they won't even make it to the video if John has something to say about it. Dang, bro. I was just thinking about that too. And on Instagram, that's actually connected to my Instagram account, so he could screw us up. Dang, bro. But yeah, is there any last words you have for us?
How'd you like the smelling salts?
Jalapeno poppers are delicious.
Amen to that.
Always,
Yeah, how
were the
always
smelling
wrap
salts?
them in bacon.
Yes.
Well, yes. I mean,
Okay.
that's inferred. If you don't, then they're not
But
jalapeno poppers. They're
Answer the
whatever the hell
question.
you just made.
So what's the question?
How are the smelling salts?
They burnt. It lasted for like, I would say about 6 minutes on the burn,
Okay.
and it made my eyes water. Other than that, it was just longer lasting
Horseradish.
horseradish.
Well,
That's right. Well, you got the full overview here, boys.
If and when we have you back, you might have to bring the horseradish.
Nasal
with you. We can
napalm, guys.
Slip the
You
horseradish
should,
on the
get
pod.
it. Yeah.
Nasal
if
napalm.
you
Link in the
remind me,
description.
Dalen, I will buy a bottle.
Not
Now
sponsored.
you're gonna have to give me like 2-3 weeks notice. It's not quick to ship.
Yeah, we'll give you a couple weeks notice. Is there anything you want to plug before we roll out?
You live stream, right?
Every now and then, I'm not really consistent. I'm trying to get consistent. I want to try to live stream every Saturday night, but
What is
I
it?
was here Saturday night.
At Meep the GR8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On what? On YouTube,
Right now I'm
Twitch?
on Twitch.
On Twitch. Well, without further ado, go ahead and check us out on Instagram at the Minimum Wage Pod.
Yeah, and be sure to check out our Clips channel at MWP Clips,
And this has been
the Minimum Wage Podcast.
Where the Name is Above Our Pay Grade.
Bye.